have a talent for singing, playing an instrument, spoken word, or dance? Then this is your moment. Cayman's Got Talent Season 1 is here. And for our first season, we're putting the spotlight on gospel. Selected participants will be featured at the Point of Praise Gospel Extravaganza on October 25, 2025. But hurry, the final date for registration is September 30. To register, email us at info@flashpointmedia.ky or WhatsApp 345-321-6969. That's 345-321-6969. Don't miss this opportunity to showcase your talent and be part of something special. Cayman Got Talent.
Good morning and
welcome everyone. Welcome. It is terrific Tuesday and it is an awesome day. Why is it awesome, Mikey G? Let me find out from you first. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, Lady Elise. This morning it's of course Temperance Tuesday right here in the Grand Cayman Islands, and of course also our Financial Tuesday when we discuss money matters. So yeah, money is going to be discussed. I'm feeling a little happier. You know, we'd like to talk about money a lot. And of course, to know that it is, the Bible says, money answereth all. So for those persons who money is the root of all evil, that's not what the Bible says. It says the love of it is the root of all evil. But if you don't like money, then, have you ever seen any Christian money though? You ever seen any Christian money? No?
No, I've never seen Christian money. Money is just money.
Money is just money, and sometimes we like to Christianize so many things. And I believe we need to have a line drawn in the sand. When Jesus says, give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar and what unto the Lord, he drew a distinction in the sand to say there is a line of demarcation that you must not cross at some point. And of course, there are things that are of this world that we use, and we shouldn't feel bad that we have to use them because it is necessary for us to do it.
Yeah. Well, let's not go there though, Mikey G, because even the church requires money. Can I say to you?
Well, the church that requires money is God's money anyhow. So, you know what I'm saying? The Bible says all the things that is here belong to God, whether it is Caesar's or otherwise. All right? But for the purpose of the conversation, it is what was divided because people are trying to capture the thoughts. But if I say all the things that you own is God's own, don't talk about it anymore. It belongs to God. Everything, whether it is the good things or the bad things, all of it belongs to God, good and bad. Whether it is you thinking it or not. It is just what it is. Anyways, it is for me to say that it is the first experience for me is waking up. And just waking up alone gives me the first miracle of my day. So I'm going to be excited just about that this morning, lady.
Yes, just the fact that we're awake this morning is indeed a lot to be thankful for. We are already in the 9th month of the year, Mikey G.
9 months.
Month number 9. There are only 12 months in the year. What have you done with your 2025?
Wow.
What have you done with these days that God has given us? As I listened to the conversation yesterday on Faith Beyond the Labels, if you have not had a chance to listen,
yes,
that episode is worthwhile listening to. Of course, the question is asked, a fall from grace. And of course, Akeelia tells her story, having had a loss of job. She said she would have a job and every 3 months she would lose her job. But she went on to say that God, in the midst of her downfall, God has lifted her up. She had her moments when she was so depressed. It was such an encouraging episode to listen to. And that's what I like about the stories that we tell here at Flashpoint. Real life stories, everyday persons. You don't have to be like a movie star, anything like that. You just want to share your experience to encourage someone. So I hope someone who would have hopped on here, whether you're on Instagram, watching the Instagram feed, or you're on Facebook, however you chose to join us this morning, we welcome you. And of course, we know for sure that you will benefit from the conversation this morning.
It is indeed a day when we choose the things that happens around us. Sometimes we choose the things by
Yes,
in our actions. We definitely allow some things, invite some things into our presence, and those things take root and create a narrative that you normally wouldn't have if you wouldn't have
yes,
actually invited those things. So we're
yes.
encouraging others not to invite negative things within your circles, and of course surround yourself with persons who will only lift you up, not tear you down, build you
Yes,
up, not break you down, and to propel you forward, encourage you, not to discourage you, and to create the narrative that you are not going to be successful or go forward. So with all of that being said, we believe that in everything that we do, God is still in control of it, and so we have to surrender our will to him for him to take that next for us to take that next step. And so this is where I stand each day, knowing that with every step that I make, God is in charge of my distance or my
indeed.
journey that
Yes.
I'm going to be on this morning. So it is Temperance Tuesday, and of course it's time for a devotional this morning. The devotional is brought to us by M&M Construction for all your construction needs right here in the Grand Cayman Islands. And of course, remember, if you did not like or share this video before, or ever hit the notification bell, go ahead right now, hit it, that every time one of these programs comes up, you get it first, and so you can share it with someone else. All right, so we're going to go for a devotional by the lady Miss Susan Long this morning, and when we come back.
Good morning. This is day 16. If one member suffers, all the members suffer with it. 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 26. I Hurt for You, written by Richard De Haan. When my sons were young, one of them stubbed his toe and grimaced with pain. Seeing him trying bravely to bear the agony of those moments, I said, "Son, I'm truly sorry. My toe hurts for you." Lifting his head, he looked at me and responded, "Dad, your toe doesn't really hurt, does it?" No, I didn't sense any physical pangs, yet I did share his suffering. I even wished his ache could somehow be transferred to my body. The Apostle Paul said that all believers in Christ are part of one body, and if one part suffers, all the members suffer with it. Are you grieved when a brother or sister in Christ is in trouble? Does it bother you when a believer stumbles into sin and is brought under the chastening hand of the Lord? Do you experience sorrow of heart when a child of God is passing through the deep waters of affliction and trial? If not, ask the Lord right now to help you become the kind of person who can share the heartache of others and sympathize with them. Yes, to every Christian we meet who is in some kind of distress, we should be ready to say from our heart, I hurt for you. The hurting ones need sympathy. They need to know that we're there. A quiet word, a tender touch assures them that we care. Our quote this morning reads, empathy equals your pain in my heart. End quote.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen. The unmistakable combination. synergized to navigate.
Welcome back. It is Financial Tuesdays, and of course, in the house is our financial advisor. And of course, he always has such pearls of wisdom. Sometimes it's some tough things, yeah, some not so easy things to think about and to talk about, but certainly they have been beneficial to us. I've been having conversations, Richard, with a few persons who have been listening, and especially as it came on to the estate planning and some of the pearls they have gone. As a matter of fact, one member of our team, you know what she said? She said, I don't have anything in my estate. I don't have a house. And I had to quickly go back and said, your email, this month's salary that you're working, what about that car that you drive? Not because you're not, have like 10 properties on 1,000 hills, So your presentations, yes, they
Yeah.
have been impactful. So we welcome you back.
I also want to add my quote of welcome. I had my a story on yesterday. It's my story hour, one of those programs where we feature sometimes. And of course, it was telling about a house that was old and was on a foreclosure at the market to be sold off. And when they
Yes,
went inside and look at the treasure, they were trying to find treasures outside and everywhere. But when they realized that the furniture that they have and the items that they have in the house were valuable to a degree that they didn't understand. They were no vintage items and had value beyond measure. They were rich and they could have sold those items, pay for the property, and get those vultures off them, and they could have kept their house. And so, just to listen to the conversation on finances sort of broadened my mind a lot more, and many ways in which I myself could actually expand my thoughts on how finances could serve me better. Good morning, Mr. Richard Terwell, this morning with our financial advisor. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning, Lady Elise, Mikey G, and the broader audience of Flashpoint. I am doing well, thank you very much. Well, today we kick off the first in a series. So we went through the whole estate planning series.
Hmm.
Uh, this
That
series,
was a tough one for me, That was a
that
tough
was a
one for
tough
me.
one.
That no, I'm still laying half dead in the aftermath of that one, because well, without even having the conversation with you, that one hit me like a brick right in the chest. So I'm still feeling the pain of that one. So
Still feeling the pain.
yeah, because this is something that affected me really, really badly, and it has not have affected me. Meaning in the past, it is affecting me
Oh
presently.
man.
So it's a present tense moment I'm having. So it is something that for me is not a simple one, and my digestive system is not working too well with that one. I'm choking on it. Yeah, choking
Oh
on it.
boy.
Yeah, I can
I,
feel it right here. It's in my craw.
if you're
Let
ready,
us say.
I hope this will then kind of allow you to swallow that.
I'm trying. Get some. I want some liquid to help me force this down. You know.
All right. So this series is on real estate and primarily real estate in Jamaica and the Caribbean.
Right.
Right? We are in the Caribbean region, and I decided to focus more on the Caribbean rather than go beyond. Where possible, however, I will draw parallels with what I know in the US and maybe in some areas of Europe, primarily the UK. Good.
Okay.
Today, we're going to talk about laying the foundation, understanding Caribbean real estate. So again, as thank you again for your warm introduction, and I'm happy that I made that type of impact on you and the audience as a whole. I too have received a few emails through Flashpoint and questions. So we did some follow up with those persons who asked those questions. Just before I get into today's presentation, however, I'd still like those persons who are on the borderline of writing the will. I'm just going to state this clearly. Just write your will in your own handwriting sign it and date it. Even if you don't have a witness today, if that is found after you have passed, it will still act as your last will and testament. Right? Just make sure that it's in your own handwriting. Right? Now, having said that, good morning again, everyone, and let's get into the meat of the matter for today. As a financial advisor, I also wear hats in terms of having licenses. So one of my licenses is that I'm able to sell real estate. So I'm not only talking about real estate generally, I'm also talking as a practitioner.
Ah,
Now, whether you're a first-time home buyer, an investor, or just a part of the Caribbean diaspora, and you're considering buying property back home, I'm hoping that this series here will give you some insight so that you can make some wise decisions along the way. Now, Jamaica and the Caribbean is unique in that we are in the tropical, and with what, two exceptions? When I speak of Caribbean, I'm talking about the islands generally, and with just a few exceptions, we are all surrounded by water, islands surrounded by water. And if you think about it compared to, say, the United States or Europe or any of the other continents, it means that land is scarce. You have X amount of hectares of land, or if you want to go back to acres, we have X amount of acres of land, and it's finite. You have so much seaside properties, and it's finite, versus you have the entire eastern seaboard as a coastline for the United States. So you have to look at how much land is available compared to, say, the United States, and therefore, what value are you getting in that land? In addition to the land space being finite, not that land anywhere else in the world isn't, it's just compared to the number of persons that are here, it becomes, you feel it more. Immediately, what happens is that the price of real estate in Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and elsewhere in the Caribbean immediately start having more value. We also have something that are unique. We have sunshine all year round. Our lifestyle, we have a Caribbean lifestyle with our rum and rhythm. And of course, the Caribbean tend to be a tourism-driven market. Yes, partially half the year, but it's still primarily tourism-driven. Therefore, also the real estate process in Jamaica is largely different from the US because we are more English speaking and tend to have got most of our laws from the UK. Our land tenure systems are different. Also, mortgage and mortgage qualifications will be slightly different from that of the US. Again, we have a more Eurocentric type of mortgage qualification. In addition to that, we would want to look at closing costs and legal procedures. So, really and truly, our goal today is just to set a foundation for understanding the region while comparing it to the United States for our international buyers. So, what are some of these? For example, you know, in other areas,
Um,
find that
I'm losing the audio a little bit on your audio a little bit.
okay.
Yes, better
Can you
now.
hear me again?
Yes, much better. Yes.
Okay, beautiful. All right. In Jamaica and in about half the Caribbean states, you can own your own land. There's no restriction on land ownership. This goes for most of the larger territories. In some of the other territories, however, you cannot own your own land unless you are either employed there or you inherit it or you share with a landowner, sorry, with a citizen of that country.
Yes.
The legal process. In the Caribbean, it always involves an attorney. Whereas in the US, what you find is that the realtor can actually process your mortgage and assist you through the entire process. Financing, this is a sore point for the Caribbean. We have higher rates. I mean, recently we were quoted a rate of 11% in Jamaica, but around the Caribbean, you can get anywhere between 6 and 10%. In the United States, historically, the interest rates have been lower. In the UK, they are trending up right now. They are about 6%. In the US, anywhere, we had interest rate pre-2008 of as low as 1%. The difference, of course, with the United States is that, and what caused that big recession in 2008 was that they had what we call floating mortgages, whereas in Jamaica they tend to be fixed mortgage for a point and then they float afterwards. Floating meaning that the interest rates can fluctuate. So you in the United States you can get a fixed mortgage rate, fixed interest rate, or it can be floating, right? And in the US, which is where I have been getting some of the flack, or transaction speed in the Caribbean tend to be much longer, sometimes as much as 90 days and beyond. And this is not the financing part, this is just to get your title, right? So even if you're a cash customer coming in, it sometimes means that just to process the paperwork can take up to 90 days. And I've heard of situations that take a bit longer, but usually those are because of encumbrances, etc. Now that you get the basics out of the way, why should we invest in the Caribbean? One, there's tourism growth. Year over year, we have been increasing the number of tourists coming to Jamaica and staying over in the region of 10%, 50%. The rest of the Caribbean, post-COVID, we have almost doubled in our tourism capacity. Because of that, we have that strong short-term rental market. Think Airbnb, think VRBO, right? There's infrastructure expansion, Cayman Islands, east to west, Jamaica, north-south highway, smaller Caribbean countries. There is oil now in Guyana, and they are looking to expand in the internal regions. Belize, my mistake. They are now thinking of opening out straight into this central areas rather than just on the coastline. So you find that airports, ports, highways are given access to the larger areas within these countries. There's a strong diaspora demand for returning residents. A lot of our residents who left the Caribbean islands back in the 70s and 60s, they are looking to return now. They are now retiring. You know, they've spent their 40 odd years overseas in the Caribbean. This is home. And so the demand for real estate is also going up. And of course, as we said, the lifestyle benefits, especially compared to the more northern areas. We have a tropical climate right around. We have a culture that hasn't changed. I mean, you go to some places in New York and you still have a Jamaican night out there with Bob Marley and white rum. Our culture is still embedded well into those areas. And of course, we can't forget our beaches.
Right.
Now, what are the first steps to get going? Just like any other investment, we have to start with what's the plan, what's the purpose? Is it to come back for your home, to reside? Is it a vacation rental type of situation you want? Do you want to just have a second home because your comfortable in wherever you are, but you want to come back to Jamaica and spend 3 months at a time and just want a vacation property. You want to just come back to the Bahamas. You want to just come back to Cayman or Barbados, or do you want it as an investment? Some Caribbean countries, Cayman Islands, no taxes. Barbados, if you claim Barbados as your primary residence, you can start getting some benefits in terms if you're an investor and get the tax benefit of it of earning only 5% or paying only 5% in income taxes. So you have to now look at why do you want to come back to the Caribbean? St. Kitts and Nevis, well, more Nevis, they also have that type of opportunity, right? St. Lucia. So you have to now look at the areas. Again, we know that you know your purpose. What's your budget? How are you financing your property? Will you doing it through a mortgage? Will it be a cash purchase? Will you be doing a mortgage locally? Because what you find is that in many of the Caribbean countries, there's not a fixed exchange rate. So you find that in probably Cayman or Barbados, there's a fixed exchange rate, and so your properties will always remain the same. So where they get the financing in the UK or United States or locally, it doesn't matter. But if you look at a place like Jamaica where the exchange rate is snailing up, you find that it may be better to purchase your home locally, meaning use local financing to get that home and use your income abroad to pay the mortgage. Because as time goes by, what you find that dollar that you pay, you're paying less of it in terms of US dollars and UK pounds. Then next step, research the area that you'd like to settle in, whether it be Kingston. I'm using Jamaica for argument's sake. Kingston in terms of a business, or you want to go more in the interior where it is manageable, where you just want to retirement or just for retirement. Do you want to go to a boating area like the Bahamas, where you know you can be on an island and have basically a 1 mile beach to yourself for most of the year? And then, of course, all work with licensed realtors and attorneys. So in this series, what I'd like to do is to take you through every stage of the journey, from deciding whether to rent or buy, to finance, to other hidden costs, and even maybe even future trends in the Caribbean, and not just the islands, but also the other Caribbean territories. If you're considering property in the Caribbean, I'm sure you will not want to miss this. So we want to make sure that during the course of this, we're looking at about maybe 6 to 8 episodes in the series. I'd love you to join us every week going forward. What I'm trying to do also is to create that blog post for you, which I will send to Flashpoint that can be therefore disseminated to your audience. All right? And that's it. That's a wrap for today. Thank you.
I know it's a wrap for today, but you have embarked on a very exciting journey, Richard, and I thank you for that, because what certainly this is doing is opening the door, because there are persons who, as you mentioned, who live overseas and they're thinking of about their estate and establishing investments in Caribbean countries. And recently, two persons have been exploring where. And I have been hearing a lot of buzz about Jamaica, simply because of the development that has been happening there. You spoke about the highway that's happening. And I believe I've heard about a possible airport in the Negril area. I'm not sure if Yes, and so persons are exploring the idea of if they can not only have a vacation home, but they can invest in Jamaica as well. So certainly
Yes.
there will be
Yes.
questions, and I also want to let the listeners know that what will be happening is that you plan to highlight different properties each week in different parishes, and what is available on the market and how easy it is for you to even invest in these properties, even if you're overseas. You know, you want to know that you have an agent that you can go to work through the details and so on, the financing and that sort of things. That those are areas that certainly will be explored.
You know, this week I was just yesterday I was talking to a friend of mine who has been living abroad for many years and is expressing the view that he is tired of being outside of his country and want to be home, but you know he don't have a home in terms of a property yet, and he lives outside. You know, I would at this point, you know, when I think about it, and I thought I listened to the advice given about real estate, I would say to some persons I would consider having those properties earlier when you're in a younger state of mind, where you probably could pay off those mortgages before you become old, and then you have to be trying to do it at that time. But whether or not you have achieved that, it is something to think about. When I listen to the conversation just now, it tells me that some proactiveness at this point could benefit in the long term, and just hearing trailer homes from my friend saying, you know, I'd buy a trailer home and just go live in Jamaica on a piece of land and just have my piece of land and put a trailer home there and just start like that and just get out of this rat race, and I want to live that life, you know. So I'm hearing the expression of how people think that Jamaica is this land of paradise and a land that you can actually enjoy what you call a fulfilled life, at least at a time when you don't want to be so buzzing and active and just keep going all the time. It can relax and still benefit you in a positive way. So I mean, it is good to hear the conversation being made in this way. Real estate is indeed the top priority on everyone's list of things to do at this time, 2025.
Yes, and finally, Richard, just want to find out, will you be having pictures and videos to show off these properties that you'll be highlighting from week to week?
Well, of course, if you permit me, I will I will definitely do that. Right? So I can send those in advance. I'll send them in
Yes,
advance so that you can have them aired during your own course of the week, right?
yes, and of
Not
course,
just on one.
our Facebook listener, Patsy says she's going to write hers now, so I figure that's the will. I'm going to write mine now. That's the conversation, and Zardo says, good morning from Jamaica. And Patsy says, good morning, everyone. So, welcome to our listeners on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Happy to have you and wish you a wonderful day. I hope you would have learned something. Thank you so much, Richard. I'm excited about this journey that we are on in the series Real Estate. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Do you have a talent for singing, playing an instrument, spoken word, or dance? Then this is your moment. Cayman's Got Talent Season 1 is here. And for our first season, we are putting the spotlight on gospel. Selected participants will be featured at the Point of Praise Gospel Extravaganza on October 25, 2025. But hurry, the final date for registration is September 30. To register, email us at info@flashpointmedia.ky or WhatsApp 345-321-6969. That's 345-321-6969. Don't miss this opportunity to showcase your talent and be part of something special. Cayman's Got Talent.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and Coralie Karen, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
All right, welcome back. Wow, what a whole lot of information. You know, I'm thinking about the whole thing, and I'm saying to myself, I still have, so much into I'm investing in my mind, in the idea of in my own country, Jamaica, living in my own country and enjoying it in such a way. Many persons, I don't know.
That's exactly where it starts, Mikey G. You have to think it, you have to conceive it in your mind so that you can achieve it. I want to welcome our listeners again. We are on an exciting journey. And of course, we want the content that is shared here at Flashpoint and on the breakfast hour to be relevant and important. And so I want to thank our financial advisor for deciding to go this route. So we are now talking about real estate, and we'll be showcasing a few of the properties that are available on the market. So if you're in US, Canada, Jamaica, Cayman, wherever you are, this content certainly will be relevant to you.
There's a thing that says, my mother would say, Father have, mother have, blessed is the child that have its own.
Yes.
Another one is, you must find place to put your head before you find place to put your, and those persons who know the statement can actually finish that one for me, and then, that creates a problem for everybody else. All right, so with that being said, that real estate is actually one of the biggest thing on the market right now in every single. Owning a home is not a simple thing as just owning a home. It is actually what you call the epitome of life itself. Being able to own that property that you can say, this is mine, this is my own, this is my own. Nobody can tell me to move from here, or I live here and I have disgusting neighbors, but guess what? It's my house. Yeah.
Yes,
Preferably not having too many disgusting neighbors, but
I want to say a special good morning to my friend Dennis over there in the UK, and he is letting me know that it has started to get so cold. It has started to get cold, and he is looking forward to spending some time over there in Jam. So good morning over there in the UK. Thank you for joining us.
I don't believe the UK has ever gotten it.
Morning.
I don't believe the UK, Lady Elise, has ever not been cold. In my mind, listen, I will say this to everyone. I do not see the UK not at freezing point every time. And I'm not saying it is. I'm only saying my mind don't allow me to see it any other way. Every time I see someone from the UK.
Your mind.
My mind, yes. My mind. It's like I'm seeing this frost coming from your mouth all the time when you speak, and it seems it is a normal thing, and I'm saying that can't happen unless it's cold. And I'm in Jamaica and I'm seeing it happening, and that time I'm shivering, and I do not have those degrees that is happening in the UK. So I don't know. But anyways, many persons, I hear people go, wow, it is so nice. I love the cold. I'm saying, yes, that's for you. Don't invite me too much, in the cold. So I don't know. It's just me, ladies. It's just me. It's just me. I've seen the cold. I've seen the degree drop 1 degree, and I'm definitely not feeling too well about it. So I'm not one of those persons.
All right. Well,
I can't manage the cold. I can't manage the cold, ladies. I cannot manage the cold. I am telling you. I like the AC though, I don't mind the air conditioning, right? But air conditioning for me is the ability for me. Let me tell you, for persons who are here, Mikey G talking and being squirmish this morning, please don't judge me too badly or harshly. All right, please. Judge me just. And I'm not beating up on anyone, right? But just hear me. I like going to the ocean and swimming, and that cold weather. I can't touch the water at all. So it troubles me. I remember doing that. My sister, wanted to do some swimming. I want to say, take my sister and her husband to the beach and stuff like that. Guess what they were doing? The sun is too hot. Here's where they're going. The sun is too hot. This is a statement. They are in Texas, right? They are living in Texas. The sun is too hot, and I want them to get some Caribbean time, get some beach time. But the sun is too hot in the Caribbean, or where the beach is, and so they don't want to go to the beach because the sun is too hot. Do you understand what I'm saying? So people are used to the cold and they like the cold. So I can't make one person do something that they don't like. But for me and my house, we will serve the Lord,
Alright, so just some news just in. Robert Redford, American actor and director, died at age 89. He is known for movies such as Indecent Proposal, The Way We Were, The Horse Whisperer, Jeremiah Johnson, The Sting, Out of Africa, Days of the Condor, and The Last Call, also The Natural, Spy Game, and The Great Gatsby. That's 89-year-old. Did a good run. Condolences to him and family. As we prepare to get out of studio, though, we would like to share with you the news from Cayman and the rest of the world.
Of course, the news is brought to you by Asai Ultrasound for all your ultrasound needs right here in the Grand Cape. And of course, for those who have just joined us, go ahead, like, share, and of course, subscribe to Flashpoint. Of course, remember, we do continue all day on our web radio on www.flashpointmedia.ky. Our web radio continues all day, and of course, today is no different. We're having some lovely programs coming up, and of course, lots of information, music, and talk much more. Of course, it's news time right here in the Grand Cayman Islands. And of course, news time is brought to you by Asai Ultrasound and Lasco Food Drink.
Lasco One and Up now has ARA, DHA, and prebiotics. It's a new, smarter formula. The time by Lasco One and Up is...
Alright, the time by Lasco is 8:20 in the AM right here in the Grand Cayman Islands and beyond. Of course, our sponsor is also Asai Ultrasound for all your ultrasound needs.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Hey man, it is Tuesday, September 16th, and here are the top stories making headlines today. I'm Corley Karen. Divided loyalties, MPs' private interests under the spotlight. Questions about balancing public duty with private business have resurfaced as transparency records reveal that Cayman's members of parliament hold a wide range of outside financial interest. From construction companies and security firms to restaurants, rental apartments, and even shares in Caribbean utilities, all 19 MPs have declared some form of outside business. But the Register of Interests, which is meant to ensure accountability, isn't easily accessible. The public must book an appointment and can only take handwritten notes. Recent debate was sparked after former Tourism Minister Kenneth Bryan announced he's now pursuing a real estate license to support his wife's business. While he insists his MP role remains full-time, critics argue the situation highlights possible conflicts of interest. Commissioner for Standards in Public Life Chairman Woody Foster has suggested strengthening the law, while Premier Andre Ebanks says government is committed to working on reforms. For now, the question of how MPs divide their loyalties remains front and center.
Do you have a talent for singing, playing an instrument, spoken word, or dance? Then this is your moment. Cayman's Got Talent Season 1 is here. And for our first season, we are putting the spotlight on gospel. Selected participants will be featured at the Point of Praise Gospel Extravaganza on October 25, 2025. But hurry, the final date for registration is September 30. To register, email us at info@flashpointmedia.ky or WhatsApp 345-321-6969. That's 345-321-6969. Don't miss this opportunity to showcase your talent and be part of something special. Cayman's Got Talent.
Good morning, Cayman. It is Tuesday, September 16th, and here are the top stories making headlines today. I'm Corley Karen. Divided loyalties. MPs' private interests under the spotlight. Questions about balancing public duty with private business have resurfaced as transparency records reveal that Cayman's members of parliament hold a wide range of outside financial interest, from construction companies and security firms to restaurants, rental apartments, and even shares in Caribbean utilities. All 19 MPs have declared some form of outside business, but the Register of Interests, which is meant to ensure accountability, isn't easily accessible. The public must book an appointment and can only take handwritten notes. Recent debate was sparked after former Tourism Minister Kenneth Bryan announced he's now pursuing a real estate license to support his wife's business. While he insists his MP role remains full-time, critics argue the situation highlights possible conflicts of interest. Commissioner for Standards in Public Life Chairman Woody Foster has suggested strengthening the law, while Premier Andre Ebanks says government is committed to working on reforms. For now, the question of how MPs divide their loyalties remains front and center.
Lasco One and Up now has ARA, DHA, and prebiotics. It's a new, smarter formula. The time by Lasco One and Up is...
The time by Lasco One and Up is 8:27 in the AM right here at the Grand Cayman Islands, of course. Right here in the studios of Flashpoint. And of course, we are talking about a little bit about the news here. Apologize for our news not being longer. Had some difficulty there, I think. So we'll get that right back with that. But Meantime, for what we got from the news, MPs are having their personal business and owning their own business outside of government, and the conversation is whether or not you can be objective in doing both of them, or are you fully in the government's business running the country, or are you fully running your business separate, or is it possible to do both at the same time? That's the question on the table this morning, and so if you find that question you want to answer it, then you can go right on ahead and go feel free. Of course, remember, continue to enjoy Flashpoint all day today. www.flashpointmedia.ky. Our web radio continues. Some of these conversations you can have later on today when we have the talk time, But in the meantime, these are questions to ponder over, and we are happy that you could be joining us to be a part of the think tank to think about these things. All right, today is the 16th day of September 2025. September 11th has already passed. September 12th has already passed. We didn't even celebrate Ivan's debut in Cayman at some point. Some persons are still having the trauma and the aftermath of this Ivan story. Was a very terrible time for many persons, and I could imagine some persons benefited significantly from it, and in no wise, while one man is suffering, another man is not suffering and is very happy, while one man is sad. So it's a world that we live in, and it's life all over. So I don't know how to tell you if you're happy or sad about something, because when it affects you, it affects you. And so it is your experience. It is my experience. So I can't say you can't be unhappy about it. All right, having said that, we thank you for joining us. We thank you for your time spent with us this morning. And of course, catch us tomorrow morning for Wellness Wednesday. Today's Temperance Tuesday, mind you. Of course, we have our prayer time coming up at 12 midday to join us on our Zoom meeting when we pray for lots of different things, for peace in our country, for peace for our family, for unity, and of course for prosperity and for the health and wellness of our country and our people. All right, so while we do that, Wellness Wednesday comes up tomorrow, and so join us once again for that. Dr. K will come up with some amazing tips and advice on how to take much better care of ourselves. I want to say I'm Mikey G, of course, and of course joining me this morning was the lovely lady Elise. Of course, the man, Mr. Richard Telwell, came on as our financial advisor, and indeed, Corley Karen did the news for us this morning. I want to thank you all for joining us. Have yourself a God bless day. Catch you tomorrow morning, same time, same place, right here on Flashpoint.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd, just you and me together. It will all seem better outside, just us in the sky. I will go wherever, I'll be yours forever.
Joel Edwards, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. You know, wherever I travel around the globe, I have access to Flashpoint Radio, and so should you. Flashpoint Radio in a class all by itself.